Welcome back to something new every week. It's the same week though. We kind of just took a break in recording, but now we're back and to talk more about philosophy. Lewis is still here.
I'm still here, yes. Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's not been enjoyable so far.
No.
Okay, so let's talk about the fine-tuning argument because it's also possibly the second most popular for God's existence.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just try to construct it real quick and correct me if I'm wrong. But
Sure.
basically, the argument goes that the universal constants, thus being the four major ones, the gravitational force, the strong nuclear force, the weak nuclear force, and I forget what the fourth one is.
The gravity.
There's four fundamental forces, right? Strong nuclear, weak nuclear, gravitational,
Magnetic.
electromagnetic force.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Anyway, if those constants, big B, big G.
I don't think it's big B.
Is it not big B for magnetic force?
That's the force, but typically we talk about the constants, so like Boltzmann's constant.
Oh, well, okay. Anyways, if those were slightly different, magnitudes of like infinitesimally small, higher or small, if the gravitational force was slightly higher when the Big Bang occurred, there wouldn't have been enough force for everything to escape the gravitational force, and everything would have just collapsed in and back on itself.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was slightly smaller, all the particles would have went flying so far away, so quickly, no structures would have ever been formed. No stars, no planets, nothing. Just a sea of particles.
Seems good so far.
So it almost seems that some divine being, God, has fine-tuned these constants to be perfectly structured such that life can come about.
Seems like a fairly good formulation. Someone might add that there are, of course, more constants than just the fundamental four, but there's arguments about whether or not like you can derive them from other ones.
Those are, at least gravitational one is like the most, probably the most significant. Debatably,
honestly, you probably don't need more than four for the argument to work.
Probably only do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the strong and weak nuclear forces. The strong nuclear force is probably the most important one. We don't have like particles without that one.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess gravity is also kind of important.
Well, they're all important in their own ways.
Yeah.
I mean, even electromagnetic, we would probably be dead from radiation poisoning.
Yeah.
Without that set up properly.
So I guess more of a novice counter argument is, couldn't God just make a universe such that the constants could have been different and life could still come about?
Well, we're talking about different physics then.
Yes, but can he not? God made the rules for the game. Could he not change them?
Well, we had the discussion earlier on why we think there needs to be constant physics, right?
I agree. There should be probably most likely it needs to be constant physics.
There has to be. Would you agree that there has to be a structure that is not? I wouldn't say necessarily fully comprehensible by humans, but understandable so that we could manipulate physics. Do you think that's important for morality?
Understandable?
Not understand. It doesn't have to be fully understandable, but like we have to have a grasp of it. Like imagine the function for gravity instead of being a very simple constant mass over r squared. I mean, of course, that's the Newtonian physics, but even more complicated ones are still we can still get a grasp of it.
Mm-hmm.
What if it was something completely like just ginormous equation and we couldn't predict how gravity worked?
I don't think that's necessary.
Why not?
Surely there were cavemen who were happy, who could even possibly begin to understand.
Well,
gravity.
I'm saying something else. If gravity itself worked differently.
What do you mean work differently?
You're saying we're changing the rules of the game here.
Yeah.
So if we're changing, well, maybe let's back up a little bit. Why are we concerned by changing the rules? You're saying so that every constant would form?
Yeah.
Why is that important?
I don't. If it could have been anything, it means those constants aren't significant.
Well, they are significant.
Well, their existence is significant, but their values aren't significant.
I don't see how this is an issue against the argument, though.
It's like not an issue against the argument, it's an issue with the argument.
I mean, I don't see a particular reason why you would choose one over the other.
Well, if it could have been anything, the fine tuning argument is like these values were so specific, so perfectly ordained that it seems like someone must have
Mm-hmm.
structured it that way. I see what you're coming at there. I guess another counter argument is like, what if we just got lucky?
What if we got lucky?
I guess like if you believe in the multiverse's interpretation of the universe, which I don't know, like I believe that's the most commonly accepted interpretation of quantum physics right now, right?
I don't know.
There's many worlds
there's a
interpretation.
lot of interpretations. I haven't studied too much about.
At least I keep up with many worlds the most, just because it seems the most.
There is this idea of a Boltzmann brain, where
I know
whatever constitutes a brain could perhaps by random chance alone be formulated through random actions, like the particles just suddenly line up properly
Mhm.
and you have a consciousness, assuming that's how consciousness works. But from papers that I don't know the names of at this moment, it seems more likely that given the fine tuning, so this is where the numbers and what constants we do consider are somewhat important, but not really. So like when we're talking about fine tuning, it's like 10 to the negative 500, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
It's more likely that a Boltzmann brain forms, and therefore you have observations, conscious observation of a much different universe where the constants aren't fine-tuned for life versus the one we live in where they are.
Okay. And is there a counter argument to that?
I mean, I don't know. That's
I get fair enough. Like statistics are such a strange thing because of how the universe works. That like, because even if something's so unlikely, the universe is so large and expansive that like statistically it'll happen.
mm-hmm.
Like, for our given understandings of the universe, I don't know if you're familiar. This is kind of very off topic, but just to mention quickly, you know what the SCP is? The online, like, I don't know how to describe it besides like a collection of short stories.
I'm not sure if I'm familiar or not.
They
SCP?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear the first.
Yeah.
Yes, I know what that is.
Like analog horror.
Yes.
There's one where they like send a spaceship off to like the Earth for some reason is ending, and they just send a ship off and
Let me guess, it finds itself.
yeah, it like loops back on a planet, and like that isn't that statistically improbable. I mean, it is really improbable, but not impossible. Like, well, and also like
I mean, there are arguments that evolution on its own. There's arguments that the current evolutionary models aren't good enough to account for human evolution, or at least intelligent evolution. But I mean, that's probably going to be worked out eventually. I wouldn't stake any case on being like, oh, evolution's not good enough. We need divine intervention.
Well, even like the odds of life coming about in the first place are so
Oh,
astronomical.
origin of life.
Like, yeah,
That's a different.
it's almost like that might be the rare. I don't know. It's kind of hard to say rarest thing that's happened in the universe because like so many things happen.
Mm-hmm.
But like to even begin to calculate the odds of like it's like how mundane things can be even rare. Like shuffling a deck of cards is almost always a unique action.
Oh, 52 factorial.
Yeah, it's like an incredibly large number.
Mhm.
I believe the example I've been given is like take a random grain of sand and put it somewhere random in the galaxy, and you have a better odds of like picking it out than rearranging a deck of cards randomly and getting the same deck.
Mm-hmm.
Which like seems ridiculous, but like
Yeah.
50, like I can say 52 factorial, and it doesn't seem like that big of a number. Like I can understand it, 52 times 51 times 50. That doesn't seem that big, but then like it's literally like magnitudes larger than like the amount of. I believe there are more possibilities a deck of 52 cards can be arranged than there are particles in the universe.
Yeah, I've heard something similar.
Which seems ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways,
I mean, if we want to bring this back to fine tuning,
yeah,
the numbers we're talking about with fine tuning sometimes are even more ridiculous,
yeah,
especially in combination with one another.
yeah.
You can end up with like 10 to the negative 2,000.
But not impossible.
Not impossible.
I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the applicability of math.
To physics.
Yeah,
Yes.
and meta design. Could you define meta design for me? For
Well, design arguments are typically about some divine creator specifically designing how typically life is formed. More meta design is more how physics and stuff like that was designed. So the applicability of math to physics, an argument for it would go something like this. We observe math to have strong predictive power in physics. However, this just one moment for me to formulate this
Yeah.
better.
it's a really robust thing to think about because we so universally associate math and physics together. Um, they're almost like two sides of the same coin. Well, I guess commonly physics is seen as applied mathematics, and so on and so on. Chemistry is applied physics, biology is applied chemistry, psychology is applied biology.
Mm-hmm. I'll give a rough sketch of the argument. I mean, we'll talk through it. This isn't going to be perhaps even valid, but
Yeah.
we'll work through it. Mathematical objects either exist or they don't. If they do exist, they don't have causal power.
Okay.
Therefore, it's surprising that the physical world be so accurately described by mathematics.
Okay. Could you break it down a little bit more?
What part specifically?
The second part, the they don't have causal power.
Well, that's assuming that a mathematical object is real. That's something that exists, maybe like a platonic form. It's
Okay.
not material, but it still is real in a sense.
What do you mean by is real? Like in reality or conceptually real?
I mean, people can differ on that. Some people think mathematics exist in the divine mind only. Some people think that it's almost like an object, but not a material object.
Okay. And the last part that it's strange that the world be so defined by, or strange
Yeah.
and significant. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's surprising because you have non-causal entities
Mm-hmm.
and then something that's almost perfectly described by these non-causal entities.
Okay. I'm starting to get what you mean now. So like,
There's a missing connection, it seems, between those.
so like multiplication is just a thing we can do.
Yeah.
And it doesn't cause anything directly.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just is a mathematical operator. But F equals MA can like accurately describe so much of physics in different ways.
With
obviously.
very good precision to
Yeah.
a certain level.
Yeah. So it's strange how this random mathematical operator,
Mm-hmm.
when applied to two physical quantities, can predict a third physical quantity.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that strange though?
Well,
'Cause-
I think what I would do, I don't want to put you on the spot too much, is what explanation do you think there is for that?
Ooh, why?
Why should it be the case?
That's interesting. Like, why does MA equal F?
Yeah.
Well,
Not necessarily. Yeah, something along those lines.
yeah, like why does mass times acceleration equal force?
Mm-hmm. Or why should it exhibit any mathematical structure?
Ooh, so like why? Like what if like there was no way to predict force at all?
What if physics? I mean, it could be predictable, but not with math. Math had you couldn't, like, talking about math wouldn't make sense.
Okay, I see what you mean now. Like, what if we could describe physics with like purely English
Sure.
as like an example? I don't think.
But you can't even smuggle in math. You can't smuggle in math like that.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, where mass multiplied by
Yeah.
acceleration. No,
Yeah.
not at all.
Or like force is proportional to mass and acceleration. That would be cheating as well.
Yeah.
Almost about like what we were talking about before, that like if there is a god, he's defined the universe in such a way that it's predictable.
Mm-hmm.
I see what you mean. Oh, okay.
That's my
I'm
argument.
starting to get it now. So it seems like God has designed the universe in such a way that it is predictable.
With mathematical structure, yes.
Yeah. I hate to say this again because it's such a cop-out answer,
Mm-hmm.
but we could have just been lucky.
That we have mathematical
Yeah,
structure?
like,
I feel like we have a stronger case here, though, because this time Do you think mathematical objects can have causal power?
I'm inclined to say no.
If that's the case, then what's linking mathematical object? Well, let's back up even further. Do you think mathematical objects actually exist, or do you think they're just conceptions?
I would say they're conceptual.
Okay, so not only can they not have causal power,
Besides,
they're not even real.
Besides the platonic solids,
Okay.
like geometry is real. I'll give it like
Well, perfect geometry maybe isn't. We can't perfectly.
it could be real.
Maybe.
But like obviously I was gonna say cosine doesn't exist, but like you can map a cosine function.
Okay, but continuing, it would be like, so they don't have causal power and they don't even exist. So why should it be applicable to science or to physics specifically?
Is it Einstein who said I believe it was Einstein that said, is it Einstein or Newton? I don't want to misquote some physicists, but math is the language through which physics speaks.
That might have been Galileo.
I don't think it. I just know famously
Galileo said mathematics is the language in which God wrote physics.
I don't know famously Oppenheimer did not like math at all. He couldn't like. I don't know if you've seen the Oppenheimer movie.
I've not watched it. No.
It's at least I'm not 100% sure, but it seems like quite an accurate retelling of his life. And there's a scene where his colleague bursts into the room and says, "We've cracked nuclear power." In like the room next door, there he's at Caltech, and he's like, and him and his colleague are standing there like, there's no way. And his colleague runs to the whiteboard and starts like writing a proof as to why this can't be possible. And it's like math, and then he just looks at the whiteboard and starts writing out in English language principles as to why, like all these principles conclude that nuclear power can't be possible.
Yeah.
So he quite famously didn't like math and wasn't good at it either, but he was still one of the most renowned physicists of ever. He cracked nuclear power.
Are you implying that perhaps physics could be just as accurately described based on simple principles, like statements of fact?
Yeah. Like, let's think about Newton's laws. Newton's 3 laws, the most important laws in physics.
Sure.
The first law, let me make sure I'm getting this in the right order. It's an object in motion. No, is that the third law?
I don't think the order matters.
Second law is F equals ma. I know that.
Okay.
This first law is the law of inertia. An object in motion will stay in motion unless acted upon by an outside force. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an outside force.
Okay.
That's just a principle. Like, we can define it in English language or any language.
Okay, sure, but the argument says that we can get even closer to what seems to be objective reality by using mathematical equations.
Can you prove that?
Okay, you say that you can predict with what you said that if I push on an object, it will accelerate.
And that if I don't push on an object, it won't accelerate.
You have no clue how fast it's going to accelerate. I can predict that.
That's fair, but can you predict that if I don't push on the object, it won't accelerate?
With the same equation, F equals ma.
I see where you're coming at now. Do you think Newton's 3 laws are just the first and last are just different ways of describing F equals ma?
It could be.
I mean, if that's
there is also implications of internal and external systems.
Yeah, obviously, that's like a core component of F equals ma. But I think I'd be more inclined to agree with you if that was the case. I forget what his third law is. I cannot think of it right now.
Equal and opposite reaction.
Oh yeah, every action has equal and opposite reaction. Could that be proved using F equals ma? Pushing on an object has equal and opposite reactive normal force. That seems harder.
I would be inclined to say yes, but
okay. I don't really know any other physics. Like, those are obviously core pillars of physics, but I don't know any other. Could be relativity, general relativity.
Well, I actually took some relativity, and it's interesting if you apply a binomial expansion approximation of some of the what is it? Not general relativity, the other one.
Special relativity.
Special. I was gonna say specific. For special relativity, if you apply,
just for context, real quick, special relativity is the movement of objects at light speed or
Approaching light speed. And I think the thing that makes it special is we assume non-accelerating reference frames.
Yes, general relativity is.
You don't assume non-accelerating, and the math goes wild. Apparently, I haven't looked at it.
Einstein famously calculated general special relativity first.
Yes.
And then they critiqued it, and so he had to come up with general relativity.
With special relativity, if you look at, we have like F equals ma and other equations like that as well. But with the special component, because now velocity can't exceed the speed of light, so we have to do manipulations. If you apply, or for more context, we end up with a factor of gamma. The gamma is like 1 over square root 1 minus velocity divided by speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
We have that as a constant. Now, if you do a binomial expansion on that, and with an approximation that our velocity is not close to the speed of light, we end up, it might be 1 plus. It's 1 plus v over c. Applying a binomial expansion to that and approximating it because v isn't close to c, it's slow speeds like what is typically described by Newtonian physics, we end up back with F equals ma and all the energy equations like K equals 1/2 mv squared.
I see what you're getting at now. So it's almost like
it's a low order approximation.
Yeah, that's interesting. I guess another thing to comment on is like the energy equations as well are almost quite elegant. Like gravitational potential energy is just mg, which is just a derivation of
mgh,
which is just a derivation of F equals ma.
Mm-hmm.
And kinetic energy is what 1/2
mv squared,
which is further derivation of.
You have elastic potential, which I mean depends on the type of.
But I can also describe potential and kinetic energy in the relationship.
But I feel like you're smuggling in mathematics. Describe gravitational, probably the simplest, or kinematic if you think that's easier, but describe that in English without smuggling in math. So you can't say for each height gained, you gain extra or something relative to mg, like without doing that.
I can't say the word gained. That's a mathematical.
Gain is mathematical.
Yeah. Ooh. Potential energy. Well, I can't say increases. Those are just synonyms.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess I can't even talk about it at all.
Do you think I'm being unfair about this? Do you think?
No, I kind of inclined to agree with you. Like the words gain, I'm trying to slyly smuggle it in, and I guess I would almost just being. It seems like potential energy is just natural. Energy itself is just a quantity, and you can't describe quantities without mathematics.
How would you compare quantities?
To mathematics. We describe qualities using
it has the quality to be able to do something.
Yeah.
It has the ability to do work.
Yes.
You haven't told me anything about how we have the energy though. Like why we have the energy.
It has the ability to do work because it possesses the quality of height.
I feel like you're almost getting proportionality.
I think I might be.
I feel like you might be saying that gravitational potential is proportional to height.
I'm trying to without saying that.
I feel like you're almost escaping. You're on the border wall right now.
I'd have to think about that more. But I guess just to wrap things up, I'd like to talk about free will a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a very contentious argument, especially in the realm of talking about God's existence and the argument from evil, because a common counter argument to the argument from evil is evils exist because we have free will, but free will is the greatest good that God could bestow upon us. So
I would say love is the greatest good, and then free will is a necessary consequence of that. Okay, but yeah.
And so that's why there's so many evils in the world. But I guess I'm looking for a justification as to why free will is why is it a good? Like, surely if God just ordained us to be naturally like good or incapable of evil, life would be a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, we wouldn't have free will, but like, free will lets us do evil things. It doesn't seem that great.
I'm going to give a classic rebuttal to this. I'm
Okay.
sure you're prepared for this. If you dated someone,
Yeah.
but they didn't have a say in it, no say in it, we know they didn't have free will. What do they call it? A shotgun marriage?
Yeah, ordained marriage.
Yeah, sure.
I forgot.
They were forced into the relationship.
Arranged
with you.
marriage.
Arranged.
Yeah.
I'm saying even more forceful.
Oh.
They were mind controlled into wanting to be with you.
Okay.
Would that be a loving relationship?
I see what you're getting at.
There seems to be something about love in itself that requires
But
freedom.
are they happier?
I don't think happiness has to do anything about it.
I mean, like, if they're mind controlled to love me. Okay, let's say this. They're mind controlled to love me, and I love them as well.
Okay,
Let's
sure.
take that as a given.
Yeah.
And we're in a happy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
There's something uncomfortable about it from my point of view. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, sure.
But they seem to be really happy. We're in a lot like they have what they think they want.
Okay, but I think love's still missing. I think there's no love there. There's happiness. You can have happiness without love, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think there's love there.
I mean, they seem you mind controlled them to love me. Is that not what they were mind controlled to do?
I would say they're.
I guess it depends how you find love.
Mm-hmm.
Surely-
Well, I would say that the freedom to love is inherent within love itself.
why?
You have to decide to love.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
I mean, like, why? Why? Like, if I was forced to love something, and not even against my will, because my will would become that.
You think a robot could love? Like, even going past just a mind controlled person, do you think a robot could love? Purely determined.
Could a robot? Love is such a living characteristic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would depend if a robot could be conscious.
Mm.
You get to be conscious.
Think a conscious robot could love?
Yeah, like I don't
Do you think there is anything as a conscious robot?
I'm not sure. It's like I don't think flowers love other flowers,
Mhm.
and that they repopulate within one another.
Yeah.
But surely a dog, elephant loves another elephant,
Sure.
and clearly humans love other humans.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that requires a certain level of intelligence and consciousness within a being
Okay.
to experience love.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'd be like a robot would have to be exhibit both a level of intelligence and consciousness to love. It then begs the question: can you be conscious and intelligent without having free will?
Mm-hmm. Do you think you can be intelligent? I think consciousness, maybe, perhaps. You could be strapped down in a movie theater kind of situation. You're just watching.
Yeah.
I think kind of like disassociation, kind of
Yeah.
that thing, that could be plausible. Like you're fully disassociated.
Yeah. I can
You're
see-
only watching what your body's
Only
doing.
that, like your will's just been convinced. Like you have free will, like you're conscious to your will, but it's being ordained for you. It's being manipulated in the background. You
Yeah.
don't see, almost like the evil demon. If the evil demon was a little quiet,
I think that's plausible.
but
But
intelligence.
intelligence seems different.
Like, what does it mean to be intelligent if you aren't free? You aren't intelligence almost seems like the ability to conclude correct things given.
Certain information.
Yeah, but if you aren't doing the concluding because it's preordained,
Mm-hmm.
you aren't being the one intelligent. There is no such thing as intelligence if there's no free will. I would argue. It seems like, because
Well, that's something I would hold to as well, probably.
yeah. So it depends on whether intelligence is necessary for love or level of it. Obviously, like I'm not trying to say smarter people love better or
Mhm.
vice versa. You just need a level of intelligence to understand like what you're a person,
Mhm.
and like elephants are obviously smart enough animals, but clearly plants aren't smart.
Mhm.
Maybe it's like maybe the only thing necessary is not only not A level intelligence, just any level of intelligence, like anything with a nervous system.
Do you think greater intelligence would allow for an individual to have a greater concept of the other and therefore be able to attend to the other better?
I don't think so, unless we're including emotional intelligence in our definition of intelligence.
I would say that would be included.
Okay, fair enough. So like I can see so your ability to understand someone else. I wouldn't say they could love that person anymore. I would say they could love that person better,
Okay.
but not
I understand.
more. Like the quality of love would be better, but the quantity wouldn't be different.
Mm-hmm.
But just any think I imagine, I don't know what the least intelligent animal is, but I guess like a squirrel. They seem they seem
ant?
kind of intelligent. Yeah, ants actually seem kind of intelligent too. No,
I don't believe
a
it.
collection of ants seems intelligent.
I don't believe it.
Really?
No.
I
I think it's all ruse.
big ants
I think-
farm.
I think big ants onto it.
They create these really advanced structures.
I think it's just I don't know.
You could say the same for humans. We seem to create really advanced structures.
Okay, but we could do it hypothetically on our own. An ant could never.
Really? An
I
ant's
think
hypothetically good.
a single human could build a whole skyscraper with enough time.
So could an ant. Build a whole colony.
I don't know if it could.
Why not?
I feel like we're getting lost in the weeds
Yeah,
a little bit here.
yeah. I think this devolved into an argument about intelligence, but it's just something I'd like to talk about at some point because I know we have very different
Mm-hmm.
opinions on what intelligence is.
Yeah. And how
Um,
we measure it.
Yeah, that's more of a psychological debate. But maybe that's for some other time. I think we have to wrap things up soon, though.
I guess.
This has been fun. I would like to have my neuroscience professor on here at some point. I
Oh
think.
wow, would I be on
Yeah,
that?
yeah. I
What
mean,
would we be talking about? I feel like I'm not qualified to talk to a
mean,
neuroscientist.
consciousness, the self,
Mm,
Neuralink, intelligence, motivation, personality. Those big psychological principles I think would be, at least
okay.
I'm really passionate about. Maybe I could care less about personality the more I think about it.
Yeah, consciousness is really one of the
Yeah.
only ones
I like
about.
consciousness and self
Mm-hmm.
and motivate. I find motivation quite interesting. It seems like everything about the human condition is based on motivation
I suppose.
and conditioning. I feel like those two,
I
motivation,
hate conditioning.
because it's true or because it's false.
I think it can be true. Do you
But,
think we have enough time for another argument, just really quickly?
Yeah,
No.
sure.
The argument that I wanted to provide for this specific point was regarding do you believe that omniscience and free will are incompatible? Is that true?
What do you mean?
That if someone is all knowing, then that contradicts their ability to have free will because they would have already known what you're doing. Something along those lines.
Oh, I see what you mean. No.
No?
Because if you know all things, you know. I think it depends on. This is going to get into the weeds. Your theory of time.
Let's assume a theory.
Then that thing hasn't happened yet. They can't know what you're going to do because you haven't done it yet. Then you know all things, but what you're going to do isn't a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But if it's like a B theory of time.
No, but people would still say that a divine person could know the future of your actions on A theory.
Why?
B theory, I think, is pretty straightforward. You just look at what the person's doing.
Yeah.
A theory, they say they still can.
Why?
That just is a statement.
I don't know if I agree with that. Seems to be false. Because that, we define omniscience as knowing all things,
Uh-huh. Knowing all knowable things,
Things.
perhaps.
but things that have yet to happen are
Uh-huh.
not things.
I wanted to maybe just give a very brief defense of that.
Yeah, okay.
Just something I've been thinking about, perhaps not fully constructed yet.
Okay.
I think the big issue is that it's about whether or not the free actions are knowable. I don't think it's an issue that someone does know it. I think the issue boils down to the fact that they are able to know it. It becomes a knowable thing.
I agree. I don't think it's knowable because it's not a thing. It's not a knowable thing because that's not a thing.
I think if we're talking specifically about some divine being,
Mm-hmm.
I think we could perhaps do something like this. We could separate the will into the will that is aligned with the divine being and the will that is not aligned with the divine being.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's obvious that the divine being could fully predict the part of the will that is aligned with the divine being because that is his will, essentially. Does that seem okay? I think the part that is not aligned with the divine being is perhaps determined, perhaps by external sources,
Okay.
and therefore also predictable. Therefore, all part of the will has been accounted for. And if you take that into consideration with the whole...
I think I'd have to think about this one for a bit. There's a lot to dissect. Because it's almost like two arguments in one. Or two layers of an argument.
It does use cases.
Argument by case is quite a famous structure. I kind of don't like it.
I love cases.
I kind of like more rigid arguments formed in...
Well, yeah, of course, because you could take down either case and it falls apart.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, there's something elegant about, like, arguments constructed from pure logic.
But this is pure logic.
Oh, yeah, but cases is almost like the border of pure logic, in my opinion. Like, if you gave me, like a monist Toland's argument, I'd be up and I'd be there all day. But,
if I list out all possible combinations, you're not happy?
Yeah. It's like a
truth table.
You're like circumventing the logic. A truth table does circumvent the logic. Not the logic, but the I don't know.
Listen, you get the answer.
You get the answer. Don't get me wrong, but it almost lacks the elegance of maybe I'm snobby with my logic, and maybe I'm siding with the logicians, but there's something elegant about deriving logical truth from one statement to another.
Oh, definitely.
Like going from...
I think cases just gives us more information. Because if I didn't break it up into aligned will and unaligned will, we're stuck.
I agree. Maybe there's a logical structure that would be better for that. Maybe a different system.
What do you think about the argument as is?
I thought I'd have to think about it.
Okay.
The validity. Maybe that's for next time.
Sure.
Oh, thank you for being here, Lewis.
Thank you for hosting.
Anytime. If there's any guests in the future that I think your commentary will be insightful on, I'll make sure to bring you on, and
okay.
Hopefully the audience appreciates it.
The audience, yep.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay, well, thank you.